Howdy fellow gamers, this is Draylon here. Today's game we're going to talk about is Hearthstone, and we'll be exploring the crafting system in this game. One facet of Hearthstone, unlike the physical trading card games you may be used to, is that in this game there's no trading of cards between players. The crafting system is this game's mechanic for getting cards you want from cards you don't need in your collection. As background for those of you unfamiliar with Hearthstone, this is a free-to-play online collectible card game made by Blizzard and set in the Warcraft universe. In this game you build a deck of cards to battle against the computer or other players and their decks of cards that they've built from their collection. Both deck building skills and card play skills are a factor, and the luck of the draw does play a fairly significant role as well. You obtain cards in the game to build your decks in two ways. Basic cards are obtained by simply playing the game, and you'll get started with a basic deck for each of the 9 classes in the game just by playing the game alone. This gives you hours of gameplay without spending any actual money on the game. The second way to gain cards is by purchasing expert packs with real-life currency from the in-game store. This, of course, is the revenue stream for the game, and these expert cards do expand your deck building options, including cards of various powers and various rarities from common through rare, epic, and legendary, and can be purchased in various price points. When building your 30-card deck, you are limited to 2 of any single card, and 1 of any single legendary card in your deck. Since it's a digital game, you never need more than that in your collection, so if you've opened multiple expert packs and have obtained 3 or more of a single card, or 2 or more of a specific legendary card, you have extra cards you don't need. Since you can't trade them to another player, Hearthstone has the crafting system. In this crafting system, you deconstruct or destroy any card you own to create a currency called arcane dust. With enough arcane dust, you can create any card in the game that you may desire. This is not a one-to-one trade, however, as for example you would have to deconstruct 8 common cards to create 1 common card that you may need. As the rarity of the card you want to create increases, so does the amount of dust needed, up to needing a total of 1600 dust to create a legendary card and 3200 dust if you want to create a golden version of that legendary card. The amount of dust you obtain also varies based on the rarity of the card you deconstruct. Full information about the amount of dust you can obtain and the exchange ratios can be found on the crafting page on the Hearthstone website, and I'll put that link below the video for you to access at your convenience. To showcase this, I'm going to demonstrate the process using some cards in my collection. By displaying all cards down here where it says My Cards, you can click on that. It will display all cards, and that shows all the cards that exist in the game. The ones you own obviously are bright and shiny, the ones you don't own are faded out here. The rarity is indicated by the gem in the middle of the card, with white being common, blue will be rare, purple is epic, and orange is legendary. I happen to like the warrior class quite a bit, and so there's some common cards I did not obtain when I opened my packs. For example, I right click on Slam, it shows I do not have any of them, it's faded out, and the bottom section of the screen shows the crafting section for this card. If I happen to have this card, I would click on this section on the left and it would give me 5 arcane dust. If I want to create the card, I need 40 arcane dust, and it will subtract that from my arcane dust total here at the bottom. You already obtained some arcane dust just by deconstructing your first card, so I already have a little bit of a balance in my arcane dust bank, so to speak, there. So this is a card I'll probably want to create. One that I want also is this Arathi Weaponsmith. Helps in getting weapons for your hero. So I don't have any of those cards, so I'd like to accumulate 80 dust by deconstructing other cards to obtain it. And of course you could open more packs and hope that you draw it out of a pack, and if you're going to be buying a lot of packs, that may be the way to go first, but once you've kind of made some purchases and you have some extra cards, this is a good way to obtain cards you need from cards you don't need. For example, I have a number of a neutral card that I don't need. It shows you the amounts you own at the bottom here, times 2, times 3. So if you have more than 2 of a single card, you can get rid of it, deconstruct it, and create cards that you want. One example I have here, I have 8 of a single Silverhand Knight. I only need 2 in my collection. So by right-clicking on it, it turns into this crafting screen here, and I can disenchant and turn it into arcane dust. So as I disenchant it by clicking here, it destroys it. And now I have 7 cards and 115 dust in my bank. So I'm going to disenchant a few more times here. because I only need 2 cards in my collection. And there you go, I've added some to my bank. If I wanted to create it, I could take 5 dust out, but I do not need to do that because I have 2. This is all I need. So now I would go back to my warrior screen, get to my card that I want to create, my Arathi Weaponsmith, right click on him, and create. And I now have one of my Arathi Weaponsmiths. And I'd like 2 of him, so I'm going to create it again. So now I have 2 of him that I can use in my decks from cards that I was not going to need or use anyway. And that's just doing it for a common card. You can of course do it with rare cards and legendaries as well. One other example I'll show you is with the amount on a legendary card. For example, I have a Priest legendary card that I obtained from a pack. Oops. The Prophet Velen. I don't have a lot of other Priest cards. I'm not a big fan of the Priest gameplay so far, so I don't think I'm going to use that card, so I can deconstruct it and get a total of 400 dust just from that one card alone, since it's a legendary. If I wanted to create him, since he's a legendary, it would take 1600 arcane dust. So I do want to find other legendaries that I would rather use ahead of Prophet Velen, so I can deconstruct him by right-clicking. Oh, sorry, I right-clicked again. Clicking on Disenchant. And now I've added that to my total. He's obviously unavailable for me to play now, but however, there are some other good legendary minions that I can save up for. One that I'm wanting to get at some point for my boy's Hunter deck, if I can find him here. One of the beasts. Ah, there he is. The beast. 6 for a 10/6. That when he dies, summons a Finkel Einhorn for your opponent. He would need 1600 dust to create, so I may save up towards that amount and then purchase him just right out. And that way I don't have to randomly wait for him to show up in a pack. I hope this does help a little bit with your understanding of what the crafting system is in Hearthstone and why you may or may not want to use it. Come on back in the future for more digital card game videos, and visit Utopian Chaos for your digital card game news and community discussions. Just follow the links that I'll put below. If you did enjoy this and would like any specific topics covered about digital card games in the future, let me know in the comments below, and click like below if you are so inclined. Thanks for watching, and keep gaming.